you argue that racism is not a driving factor in income inequality?
Because it has nothing to do with race and everything to do with culture. And when you have a culture that doesn't... And when,
it's so true.
And when
it's so true.
What? Explain to me. You explain to me why black kids aren't graduating high school.
Explain that one.
Explain to me why black kids are shooting each other in rates significantly higher than whites are shooting each other.
Explain that.
13% of the population is responsible for 50% of the murder. Explain to me why the number of black kids in prison, not for innocent reasons, not for walking down the street and getting pulled into a prison, is so high. Explain, if it has nothing to do with culture, explain to me why the single motherhood rate in the black community jumped from 20% to 70%.
Almost 74%.
The civil rights movement has made such tremendous strides. Is America more racist now than it was in 1960? And if it is, please explain to me how that happened.
Yeah, come on, somebody, explain. Come on, you two. Come on. Oh, he's going. You take it. You take it.
Jump in. It's an open mic there.
They don't have an answer. Owned, baby, owned.
That's in the media.
Michelle, what do you people want?
What do I want?
Michelle,
when you say you people, what do you mean?
The complaining black people blaming others for the failure of their parents and their lives.
What
blaming others for whatever it is you're complaining
Victim
about.
mentality,
what
victimhood.
Exactly do you want from white people?
She looks like she's strung out on something. Either that or she's just...
I'm just going to take a breath.
Yeah, take a breath.
And...
I'm trying to find out what you want.
They don't know what they want. They're
nationality.
Idiots. Nationality.
American.
What's your nationality?
I'm black American.
Oh, okay.
What do you want?
Caucasian.
Oh, you do? And why do you think that? Why do you think that?
Because you seem to separate yourself from
us. From you? Yeah, from you.
On the other side.
Yeah. From idiots.
In the ways that you specified thus far.
Meaning what? Tell me, give me an example and tell me what you mean.
How you mean, what do you people want from white people? Meaning that I'm not with you.
Oh, okay, I got it.
It's just y'all by yourself, right?
Let me explain why I do that. What you don't know is that there are two realities in life. Mm-hmm. One is that of good and one is that of evil. And now that I've been able to overcome evil, I don't identify with angry, evil black people. I identify with other blacks and others who are on the side of good. And so that's why I say you people, because I have to divide myself or separate myself from evil.
Go, Jesse,
and
go,
along
baby.
with good. So that's why I do that.
That's why he does it.
That's evil.
I'm sorry, your anger, you're blaming others for your problems. Your lack of
evil
love
might be too
and
strong a word.
yourself and others.
Idiotic, moronic, retarded. Those would be better words. Selfish, victimhood.
Unbelievable, astonishing sexism. We have to teach young boys not to be boys so they won't be violent.
Why is being violent being...
Get out. I'm sorry. Like gender, we teach boys and girls that they're the same, and that's a problem. They are different. When we do experiments on young babies and even on related animals, we know that certain children go for certain toys. Boys and girls are different. To give you some context for all of this, you have to understand a little bit about the history of feminism. There have been two main strands.
And here is our local expert.
Well, of course, because of course men aren't allowed to speak about anything that isn't to do with men.
The things
except
that you've
no one's
already
really
said.
interested in.
We talk about separate but equal, but having even mentioned the Floyd Mayweather fight, they're walking away with hundreds of millions of dollars at stake. You being at the height of your sport, maybe
another
make,
idiot
$1 million
reporter
at most per fight. Does that anger you, and what can we do to change that?
I don't like to talk about exactly how much money I make, but I'm extremely comfortable and happy.
You are.
There you go.
Okay, so
and
she didn't take the bait from that idiot.
If I got to a point where I had almost 50 fights, I would probably be making close to the same amount of money that Floyd does.
Owned, baby, absolutely owned. Woke such as
I'm a feminist because I believe in equality for men and for women and men, and for all genders.
So women and men.
No, all genders.
No, so women and men.
There's women.
There are two genders biologically. I'm sorry.
There isn't. There's you're not now now you're totally excluding, transgender, non-binary, gender fluid people, and these.
I mean, you can live in your unicorn world.
I'm going to assume that you're a cisgender straight woman because you obviously.
The hell is that?
That's really true.
And that you probably.
I actually
haven't ever been raped. Either.
I actually identify as an attack helicopter, so it's really offensive.
You sound like you're speaking from a very privileged point of view here.
Very privileged.
Privilege.
Yeah.
There's
I would
a word.
like you to use my pronouns if you could. They're I, me, and my.
So now you're mocking. So now you're mocking the LGBTQ community now.
I have lots of LGBTQ friends, and they don't get professionally offended at everything.
Just because you have LGBTQ friends doesn't mean that you're not homophobic or biphobic or transphobic. That's like me saying,
These people
I
are
have
delusional.
black friends, so I'm not racist.
Yeah, you're not racist if you have black
and
friends.
Female and not some unicorn gender that's been made up.
That's so hateful. You're just like erasing. Yeah.
Social construct, right? And I don't have boobs. That's just a social construct. Oh, and penises don't exist, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
There's male and there's female. There are two biological genders. Science exists. I'm sorry to tell you all that science exists, but it does. There is biology, there is science. I mean, you can live in your magical made-up world with trigger warnings.
Friends, hear you talking right now because
I don't think they'll come out of the woodworks and defend me, guaranteed. Because I've got lots of friends that. That's great.
And you know what? I'm finding a lot of what you're saying extremely offensive.
Oh, you would.
I'm sure that I know a lot of people.
And I
Oh,
mean,
it's so
science
offensive.
probably disagrees with you.
I want to validate those people's experiences, like transgender people. That's so important to their lives and their identity and their happiness and their well-being and their health. How can you say no? How can you deny the existence of these people's identities and their
You deny
need
the
to
existence
have
of their
that,
delusion.
that well-being?
They can do whatever they want. That doesn't mean science or myself have to agree with you believing you are a gender, you believing you're a demigirl or some non-existent gender that's been made up.
It's non-existent. It's incredibly important to them.
You know what else is important? Science, facts, and biology.
Reality.
Those are also very important to the advancement of the human race, to treating people's diseases, to reproduction.
Own, baby. Own. These people are just absolutely delusional.
People who are stopped and frisked are black and Hispanic. That's because the vast majority of people in New York City who actually commit gun crimes are black and Hispanic. I'm sorry, I can't do anything about that.
Statistical regressions we have to run. That's not true. Look, and
yes, that is 96% of all gun assailants in January to June 2008. 95% of all gun assailants in the city of New York are black and Hispanic.
guys, again, how many regressions do we have to run? Black and Latino folks are overrepresented in being pulled over, in being tried, in being sentenced, in being incarcerated.
Because they commit more of the crimes. That's why.
You know why? The reason I don't believe that is because let's take speeding. Let's agree on facts. Let's say we have democracy when we can't. Right, because you don't care about them, and I do. So it is not anybody's fault that 50% of the murders in this country are committed by young black men. It's not the fault of the people who are putting them in prison that those people happen to be black. It's not the fault of the New Jersey Turnpike Police that they're pulling over 23% black men when they did a statistical analysis and found that 25% of the people speeding were black. Okay, again, since 1994, in the 75 largest cities in America, when they analyzed whether there's overrepresentation in crimes that were reported, not just crimes that were charged, crimes that were reported versus the prison population, they found that blacks and Hispanics were statistically underrepresented. The biggest problem for blacks and Hispanics living in the inner city is that there aren't enough police officers there to actually take care of them and police the crime and make their city safe for investment and education.
Ho, 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 ho!
You look at the at least statistics and you say, oh look, there's a study. Hey, there's a massive overrepresentation. Let's just look at drug crimes, which are the largest proportion. So you don't want to talk about gun crimes, drug crimes. The predominant reason why people are incarcerated in this country is mostly because of nonviolent drug offenses. And study after study. Black and Latino folks.
They've been pleaded down.
In terms of arrest, in terms of charging, in terms of sentences, get harsher sentences when they're sentenced.
That's not true. And when it comes to college admissions, for example, there are more women than men going to college. That's correct. When it comes to graduate schools, there are more women than men going to graduate schools. Okay, when it comes to jail, which you just cited, the vast, well over 90% of the people in jail are men. Is that because the system is sexist against men?
Oh, ho, ho, ho. just got owned there. Just got owned.
Now sexist against well over 90% of the people in jail are men. Is that because the system is sexist against men? I'm really arguing that the jailing system is now sexist against men because there are more men than women in prison. That's really your argument.
No, it does happen to also be the case that more men commit crimes. More men.
Got her. Got her. Oh, yeah. Bingo. There we go. Absolutely. Man, that was great. That was great. In every instance, when he's arguing, is that why are blacks the ones that are in greater proportion, right? In percentages, are they in prison? Because the overwhelming number of blacks are the ones that are committing the crimes. The same thing goes for the Hispanics. The overwhelming number of them are committing the crimes. But this lady, lesbian, leftist libtard, she's saying no. The reason is because the police are going out there on purpose and just arresting anybody, pulling anybody over. If you look black, they're pulling you over, they arrest you. If you're black, they pull you over, you got a gun, they arrest you. It doesn't matter you got a gun. You're black, you're committing a crime, they're going to arrest you. If you're not arresting crime, that's what this lady, lesbian libtard liberal thinks. That's what she's trying to say. Then all of a sudden now, when men are 90% of the prison population, and goes, well, that's because why? Because men are the ones that mostly commit the what? What? They commit the what? Oh, they commit the crime. Oh, own, baby. Own. Check and mate. Checkmate. Exactly. Anyways, folks, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasser Shake Show. I've been your host. My name is Dr. Nasser. If you haven't done so already, we'd love you to subscribe to the channel, like, share, and follow us. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Check out our other video links above and below. My final thought is always, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.